All right, so here's the need to knows question or skill number 7, exponential equations. All right, so whenever you see that exponential, you should think about a form or a formula, y equal art. All right, so again, guys, you need to always think about that y equal art. Okay, so again, this question says write an exponential equation. All right, so where a person starts with 800, earns 3% interest every year. All we're doing is writing the equation. We're not solving it, okay? So when we're writing this equation, we need to remember the general form, y equals a parentheses r to the exponent t, where the a represents your initial value, the r represents your rate, and t is your time, okay? So what you're going to do is that you're going to write an equation, y equals some initial value, some rate over some period of time, okay? What do you think represent the initial? Yup, the initial is the 800, all right? Because that is what I start with, okay? So again, another name for initial is begin or start, okay? Or flat, okay? And then another name other than flat is base, okay? So base amount, all right? So again, 800 goes on this line here. All right, the next easiest thing to find is normally time, but it didn't tell us how much time it was changing by. So it just said every year, all right? So per year would just be t, all right? So again, just t or x, okay? Now we're going to calculate the rate. So it says that you're earning 3%. What do you think earning means? That you're adding. But what are you adding that 3% to? 100%, all right? So again, you always start with 100%. 100 plus 3 is 103, but this is a percentage. And do we want a percentage? No. So I'm going to move the point right here 2 times to the left like Beyonce. So this would be 1.03. And that is the exponential equation. That's my answer. All right? So let's try the next one. So again, all I'm doing is just writing the equation. I'm not solving it. Okay, so again, guys, we're using that same y equal art, okay, where we know a is the initial, r is the rate, and t is the time, okay? So when I'm representing this, guys, I'm going to write y equals some initial value, some rate over some period of time. So what do you think represents your initial? Your initial is the 40,000, because that's the amount that a person that has a job is that is paying them $40,000, all right? So that's their starting amount or their base amount, all right, or their flat fee regardless of how much they get as a raise, okay? So again, that's your initial, okay? What do you think represents your time? Well, it didn't tell us anything about time other than the fact that it says it's happening each year. So our time would just still be t, okay? So now we're going to represent that it says we got a raise. Raise would mean that you're adding 5, but what are you adding 5 to? To 100%. 5 plus 100, which is 105, but that's a percentage. And do we want a percentage? No. What do we want? A decimal. So I'm going to move the point that's technically right here 2 times to the left. So this would be 1.05. All right, and that is it. Because again, all the question asks you for is to write the equation, not solve it. All right, so let's try the next one. So again, this one says you're writing that same equation. So again, I'm using that same y equal art. Okay, so again, a is the initial value. All right, r is the rate, and t is the time. Okay. So we're going to write y equals some initial value, some rate over some period of time. So it says a person currently weighs 250. That word currently is another name that means initial, because that's what's happening right now. So the 250 is your initial. They're losing 1%, so that means I'm going to subtract 1% from 100. 100 minus 1 is 99, but it's a percentage. So I'm going to move the point right here 2 times to the left, and I'll get 0.99. All right? So that's your rate, 0.99. Okay? Here it says each month And in this way, you can represent it, all right? So this would be T over how many months are in a year? Yup, 12 months. So this would be T over 12, all right? So now let's try the next one. So again, guys, we're using that same art. And if you realize I'm writing the formula over and over, or the form over and over, because I want to make sure that I remember it, okay? So again, if I'm writing it this many times, that's exactly what I need you guys to be doing, okay? So again, write it over and over so you don't forget it. So we're going to have y equals something, parentheses something to some t. What do you think represents your initial? Yup, the 100,000, because the question says a person has 100,000 in savings and uses 25% each year of retirement, all right? So they have 100,000, so that's your initial, all right, because that's what they already have, all right? That's what they already have in their savings before they started to use money, okay? So in this case, it says each year, so it didn't tell us monthly or anything like that. So this is just T. And then it says that we're using. So if I'm using something, that means I'm taking it away, right? I'm getting less of it because I'm using it. So I'm using 25% out of my 100%, and I'm left with 75%. But do I want a percentage? No, I want a decimal. So I'm going to move the point 2 times to the left. So this would be 0.75. So 0.75. All right. So again, guys, just like that. Because again, all the question told us was to write the equation, not solve it. Okay. So let's do the next one, guys. So the next one says identify the initial value and rate of change of the equation shown below. All right. So again, guys, we use that same art. Y equal a parentheses r to the exponent t. All right. So your a is your initial value. R is your rate, all right, and T is time, all right? Because again, this equation looks like this form right here, okay? So in this case, the 40,000 aligns with the initial. So your initial value is your 4,000, not 40,000, I meant 4,000, all right? Your rate, we saw that rate was represented by 0.8, all right? But in reality, you're trying to find the rate of change, okay? So to figure out the rate of change, guys, what you're going to do is just do, so again, to figure out that rate of change, okay, you're going to do this number minus 1, all right? So 1 minus this number. So 1 minus this number that's here, okay? So 1 minus 0.8 is 0.20, all right? 0.20 is the same as 20%, all right? So this was changing by losing 20% every single time, all right? So again, guys, that's what this was saying, okay? Because again, 20 as a decimal is actually 20%, all right? So the rate of change, okay, was that we were losing 20%, all right? So again, guys, that's how much we were losing every single time, all right? So let's try the next one. So what do you think your initial is? Because again, it looks like that y equal a parentheses r to the exponent t, all right? So again, guys, when you're doing this, you know that a is your initial value, all right? R is your rate, all right? T is time, okay? So your initial, you know, is, so initial, we know is 200, okay? Your rate of change, so rate of change, okay, would be 1 minus this number. So 1 minus this number is 1 point, so minus 1.1 would be 0.1, negative 0.1. But ignore the fact that it's negative, guys. So ignore the fact that it's negative, all right? So in this case, because it's larger than 1, that means it was growing, okay? So this was getting larger and larger, all right? Because again, it was bigger than 1. So the rate of change was telling me, so again, this 1 is 0.1, forget the negative, is the same as 10%, because again, this is the same as 0.10, which is 10%. So for this question, guys, the rate of change, okay, is that we were gaining 10%. All right. So that's what we're seeing right here. Okay. So again, because it was a larger than 1, you're gaining. All right. Because again, you're bigger than 1. All right. So again, bigger than 1. So if your rate is greater than 1, that's a growth. Okay. So again, if your rate is greater than 1, that's a growth. If your rate is less than 1, that's a decay. All right. So again, guys, just for your knowledge. Okay. So last question. So this one we actually have to solve. Okay. So it says the population of a city is growing by 2.5% each year. It currently has 1,200,000 residents. How many will it, or how many people will it have in 8 years? All right. So again, we're using that same art. Okay. So where we know that A is your initial, R is your rate, T is time. Okay. So you're going to be writing an equation where you have Y equals some initial value, some rate over some period of time. What do you think represents your initial value, guys? How much they currently have. All right. So currently they have 1,200,000. Okay. What do you think represents time? 8 years. All right. So 8. And then now we calculate the rate. So it says that we were growing. So that means I was adding 2.5. And what am I adding to? 100. This will give me 102.5. But this is a percent. And what do we want? A decimal. So you're going to move it 2 times to the left. So this will be the same as 1.025. So that's what goes in here. All right. And then all I got to do now is just type all of this into my calculator. All right. So I don't have a calculator, so I'm going to use the little calculator that I have right here. So I would do 1.025 to the 8th power. I don't think we can do to the 8th power on this. So I would just multiply it by itself 8 times. Okay. So I'm going to use this calculator instead. 1.025 to the 8th power is going to be 1.2184. Then you multiply that by 1,200,000. All right. And then you would get 1,462,083.477. All right. It didn't tell us how to round. All right. So again, let's re-practice how to round. So if it says nearest whole number, you look at this number. So again, that's if it says nearest whole. If it said nearest tenth, you look at this number. And if it's nearest cent, you look at this number. All right. So in this case, this would round up. If it was whole number, this would not round up. If it was nearest tenth, this would round up. If this was nearest cent, this would round up. Okay. Because again, these numbers are 5 or larger. Okay. So again, guys, just like that. Okay. It just depends on what the question is asking for. So let's do this one, guys. The last question. So art. Okay, because it says the number of infected by a disease grows by a percentage. All right, and then we have some starting amount. Anytime you're growing or decaying, increasing or decreasing by a certain percentage over a period of time, that means you're doing art. It's exponential. This is your initial. This is your rate. This is your time. All right, so you're gonna have y equals some initial value, some rate over some period of time. What do you think represents your initial? How much they currently have. All right, so 10,000. Okay. What do you think represents your time? 1 year. Okay. And then what do you think represents your rate? Well, it says it's growing, so that means I'm adding 4. What am I adding it to? 100, and I get 104, but this is a percentage, and what do I want? A decimal, so I'm going to move the point 2 times to the left like Beyonce. So this would be 1.04. 1.04, and then I go ahead and plug that in my calculator. All right, so 1.04 to the first power times 10,000, and then I got 10,400. Okay, so again, guys, just like that. So again, you don't need to round this because again, I don't even have a decimal. Okay. So again, guys, just like that.